are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the College Loop Podcast. I'm Dylan, able to take on Twitter, here to preview this week's game as the Auburn Tigers get ready to travel to Vegas to take on the Vanderbilt Commodores, number 15 team in the country. And, of course, the first game of the currently interim DJ Durkin era. Now, this game is very interesting. I've seen people go back and forth on what exactly they think this game could entail on either side. Vanderbilt, again, a very good football team, number 15 in the country, lost to a Texas team who, is very wishy-washy on whether or not they're a really good team or not. But they're still a top 25 team regardless. And, of course, getting a very close loss to Alabama as well. On the other side for Auburn, DJ Durkin is your interim head coach. Hugh Freeze got fired on Sunday after another embarrassing performance from the offense. And it opens up a lot of question marks regarding exactly what this offense will look like. It's been announced already that Ashton Daniels will, in fact, be the starting quarterback for the Auburn Tigers, at least from here on out, from what we can at least understand from that. Which, I think that's the better option. You go into this week, and, of course, everyone's going to think that it should be, Deuce, which, I can't fault people for wanting to go the Deuce route. I just know that it could not be it couldn't be Jackson Arnold. I think that he has greatly overstayed his welcome at this point. It's been an embarrassing performance of a season for Jackson Arnold. So Ashton Daniels wins the starting job for this week, and I think that you're really going to get a good glimpse early on of what exactly this offense will look like. And, of course, you got some guys who are going to be out for Auburn. Of course, you have Champ Anthony, who is out, which sucks. Elijah Melendez listed as questionable. Brandon Frazier's questionable, which that's not good for the Auburn offense either, because you're very limited at tight end right now because Preston Howard has not been it. And I think there's going to be an emphasis of the run game early by Auburn, and that's kind of just where I think this offense lies. I think you have to still find ways to get the ball to Cam Coleman and Perry and Eric and all these guys out there that have been underutilized. And believe me, the transfer portal waiting down the line for the Auburn Tigers deeply scares me. Because I don't know what's going to happen to this offense, and I don't know what's going to happen with the head coaching job. But, of course, this is the first of a 3-game span, or maybe even a 4-game span, barring anything happening, where Auburn could find a way to, keep Durkin around for the long term. So, getting to my keys of the game. I think this game comes down to a lot of things. For Auburn, is keeping your same mentality. What I've been seeing from this team this week, there's been a lot of support towards Durkin, and from the recruits, it seemed like even the recruits are like, "Hey, well, if you keep Durkin around, well, I'll stay around." So it's very interesting. And if the offense can match the energy the defense brings, Auburn can find a way to win 2 out of these last 3. Barring we don't know which one of the other ones is going to be. I think Mercer you can already write down as a win. Auburn should be able to out-talent their way to a win against Mercer. If not, whole other set of problems to talk about. But Auburn's going to beat Mercer, but you got to beat one of these 2 games to get the bowl game that you so desperately want. So, players to watch in this one, of course, going on the Vanderbilt side first offensively is Diego Pavia, and I just spelled his name completely wrong. Let me just go ahead and there we go. Very tired, if you don't know. Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt, of course, the quarterback, the century-old quarterback who's been around since the dawn of time, still has been a very phenomenal quarterback. He extends plays. He's able to win these games off of sheer will himself. Last year, DJ Durkin had an answer for him. They only scored 17 points, which another instance of the Hugh Freeze offense not being able to put up any more than 7 points in a game, or not even being able to put up more than 17 points. So early stages of that. But Diego Pavia has given every single team he has played a lot of crap. He has given it all, and no one has really found a way to really stop him yet this season. But Durkin is determined that he can. And, of course, they have a weapon on their side of the ball that can really help shut down Diego Pavia. And, of course, everyone knows what I'm going to go with here. And everyone knows his name is Xavier Atkins, who, again, one of the best defensive players in the country and deserves to get some national recognition for how good of a player he has been this entire season. Absolute legendary player in the making. And, dude, he is so good. He is going to be the key here for Auburn, shutting down Diego Pavia, keeping him one-dimensional. If you force Vanderbilt to just kind of stick to the passing game and kind of shut down the run game, I think that works out very much so in your favor. So I think Xavier Atkins is the biggest player to watch here for the Auburn defense. And, of course, that whole defensive unit, the whole front seven is going to be massive in this game. Vanderbilt's defense, Miles Capers is where I'm going with this one, leading the team in sacks. It's been the big issue for Auburn's offensive line is protecting the quarterback. Last week, Ashton Daniels took 5 sacks in a game. Regardless, I don't really think it's as noticeable when Ashton Daniels takes a sack because he's actively making a play happen instead of just standing there waiting for the sack to transpire. But if Auburn is able to step it up, that helps out exponentially. Vanderbilt has a very good run defense, and that's going to be the big ticket here is can this offensive line prevent Vanderbilt's front seven from crashing in and stopping Jeremiah Cobb? Jeremiah Cobb currently top 5 running back in the SEC. But, if the defense is crashing in and the offensive line isn't doing much about it, then it does not bode well for Auburn going forward. But, of course, I think with Jeremiah Cobb being another big name for Auburn this year, I still think that Ashton Daniels is still the player to watch here for Auburn. Getting the starting job and getting it earlier than he got it last week, which is absolutely ridiculous that, the non-interim head coach, it took him the full 5 days to flesh out what quarterback he wanted to start. And it took the interim guy 3 days, which is interesting. Which I really like what I've been saying from Durkin and the clips of him at practice, where he is actively involved in making sure everyone is playing with the same mentality. Wounded animal mode. I've on 3 is Andy and Ari has the zombie tigers, which I really enjoy, which would be interesting. But I think Ashton Daniels, regardless of how good Vanderbilt's run defense is, they are susceptible to the passing game. You got to get the ball to Cam Coleman. You got to get the ball to Jeremiah Cobb in the passing game. You got to get it to Perry Thompson, Eric Singleton, Malcolm Simmons, Ryan Gee. All those guys have got to get a chance to get the football. And Ashton Daniels didn't play terrible against Kentucky. It was just play calling, and we hope it's still just play calling. I want to hope that Derek Nix is a step in the right direction, because again, I just don't believe for a second that anyone else was calling them play calls except for Hugh Freeze. And this will be the week to really prove that with how the offense could shift in the right direction. Again, this is a generational defense that has been stymied by in the negative way, generational offense. So, player to watch for Auburn is, of course, Ashton Daniels. And, you go key matchups here. I already talked about it a little bit. Diego Pavia versus DJ Durkin. They've been talking about how they want to shut him down. They are going to shut him down. And they did it last year. 17-7 loss. Regardless, you held Vanderbilt to one of their lowest point totals of the season last year. And again, I think Auburn can do it again this year. I desperately think that this defense is good enough to win the game off of sheer will. But the offense just has to put up a meandering 17 points. That's all they got to do. That's all they had to do last week. And, it'll be interesting to see how exactly this offense changes this week. My next one is, of course, Auburn's ability to run versus Vanderbilt's run defense. Of course, their run defense has been really one of the better ones in the SEC alongside Auburn's. But Auburn has to run the football. I mentioned how they're going to have to pass the ball. You got to run the football to pass the ball. That's an extension of the passing game, by opening it up by running the football. Jeremiah Cobb should still get about 20 carries this game, if not more. But you still need to find ways to pass the ball. And this will be interesting in that regard. So Jeremiah Cobb's still going to be a big ticket item in this game. And my last one is just Derek Nix versus Larck, offensive play caller for the first time this season, versus Larck, who has turned this defense into one of the top ends of the SEC. And again, one thing I noticed while watching, and I hope Derek Nix noticed this as well, while watching the film of the Texas Vanderbilt game, Vanderbilt was not doing too hot when it came to defending Texas in the screen game. So be interesting to see if Auburn can incorporate that a lot more. Let Malcolm, let Perry, let Eric, let Cam take a screen pass and just see what they can do with the ball. I mean, I think Auburn could have won a lot more games if they were just getting these short yardage passes going. There's enough talent in this wide receiver room to make a couple of guys miss and take a screen pass at least 10, 15 yards. So hopefully you'll see a little bit more of that this week. And I think, again, if you're watching the film, you definitely saw that in motion versus Texas last week in that loss. Vanderbilt's loss to Texas. So very interesting. Of course, I'm about to give my prediction. But, of course, don't forget, give me your prediction for Auburn at Vanderbilt this weekend. Of course, Vanderbilt's a 6.5-point favorite, a full touchdown. It's in Nashville. It's a 3 o'clock kick. It's on SEC Network, which hopefully we're able to watch the game. I would love it if Disney was able to quit being stupid and, ruin the season for everybody who has YouTube TV. But I'm trying to stay strong because YouTube TV is the better option of anything. But regardless, let me know what you think in the conversation below. What is your prediction for Auburn at Vanderbilt this weekend? And, I look at this game, and this is me building up to my prediction. It's interesting. Very, very interesting. The team feels a little more juiced than normal. Vanderbilt, again, I think they're still a very well-coached football team. They're very well as understating it greatly. I don't know, man. Something about Auburn, and it might just be delusion. It might be a little bit of that insanity happening, but I think I'm going to do it. I think, I'm going to pick Auburn to get the win over Vanderbilt. I think there's a flip that can get switched here. I think there's a way for Auburn to really find ways to step up and get better from this. And I think they do. I just the mentality of the team, no one is wavering in their support of Auburn because DJ Durkin can, he carries that much because of what he's done with this defense. And if the offense can just reciprocate even half of the energy the defense does, Auburn will be undefeated right now. Because this defense, again, if the offense was even top 50, I think Auburn is in the playoffs. That's all you needed. You're one of 3 teams that have not given up more than 24 points in a game. And again, those 3 teams are you, who are 4-5, and then number 1, Ohio State, and number 2, Indiana. So I'm going to go buck wild here, and I'm actually going to stick with my pick. I'm going to stick with Auburn getting the upset at Vanderbilt, which plays into Auburn getting a bowl game, and then it makes that Iron Bowl a lot more interesting. Because, again, if Auburn can find a semblance of an offense and get an upset victory this week and then get fresh and get more confident versus Mercer, that Iron Bowl in Jordan-Hare Stadium feels a lot better. Feels a lot better and a lot more comfortable. But yeah, I'm taking Auburn 20-17 for my pick. Let me know in the comments below. Am I being delusional? Am I not being delusional? Let me know what you think. What are your predictions for Auburn at Vanderbilt this weekend in First Bank Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee? Of course, we're going to quick little break. Other side of this break, we're going to do our pick'ems for the week, so stay tuned for that. But, of course, don't forget, let me know in the comments below, what are your predictions for Auburn at Vanderbilt? And, of course, don't forget to like, follow, and comment as well. I mean, follow, anyway, subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well. Quick little break, and we're going to be right back.
Are you tired of having to rummage through just clothes after clothes after clothes looking for something to wear? Are you tired of your friends making fun of you for your terrible fashion sense? Well, do we have the shirt for you? Go to thewarreport.com, get your laptop out and do it right now. Go to the shop and get your very own Feelin' Loopy t-shirt as well as your College Loop hat, and you can get both of them for only $25 each. Plus shipping and handling, of course. But with that, now back to your regular scheduled program.
You get that merch on thewarreport.com. Go to the shop and get your very own Feelin' Loopy merch today. Only one way to support the channel, but the best way to support the channel is, of course, by liking the video, by commenting on the video. Let me know what your predictions are for Auburn at Vanderbilt, and, of course, by subscribing to the YouTube channel, helping us get to our next milestone of 2,000 subscribers. We are currently sitting at 1,000 and I want to say 12 last time I checked. I'm trying to, it's giving me every single 1,015, even better, way better than 1,012. So pick'ems for the week, got the 10 biggest games. We're starting off at 11 a.m. kick. Number 2, Indiana at Penn State. This is an interesting game in terms of what exactly can we expect to see from Penn State, but I don't think it matters all that much. Indiana is a national championship contender. Honestly, right now they are my pick to win the national championship. So I'm going to continue my confidence level in the Hoosiers, and I'm going to rock with the Hoosiers to get the win at Penn State. Up next, I got the retro logos going on for the SEC games. Number 5, Georgia traveling to Starkville to take on Mississippi State. Georgia's an 8.5-point favorite in this one. Potential trap game, if you ask me. Mississippi State, if they can just find ways to control the clock a little bit better, they could have beaten a couple of teams earlier on. I mean, teams like Texas. But close with a cigar doesn't really pay the bills. I'm going to take Georgia, but again, would not be shocked in the slightest if there was an upset to brew here in Stark Vegas. Up next, probably I think the game of the week per College Game Day. Number 7, BYU traveling to Lubbock to take on number 8, Texas Tech. Texas Tech, 10.5-point favorite. And again, this game gets a lot better because of the college football playoff. Both teams now being 7 and 8. I'm going to take Tech here strictly because they're the home team. I think it's going to be a very close and fun game to watch. If, of course, YouTube TV and Disney fix their beef and if Disney gets over themselves. But regardless, I'm going to take Texas Tech to get the win here at home. Up next, back to the SEC, number 3, Texas A&M taking on number 22, Missouri. A&M's a 7-point favorite. I'm going to keep going with A&M. I think A&M, again, is a contender in the SEC and a national championship contender. I think they've been a very, very solid team this season. So I'm going to rock with the Aggies of A&M in this one. Another ranked matchup, number 9, Oregon, traveling to take on number 20, Iowa. Oregon, again, this is a chance for Oregon to really prove who they are. So I'm going to pick them to get the win here, but there are a lot of doubters right now going against the Oregon Ducks, but I think they can pull out a win here at Iowa. I get the back half of this. Numbers not even ranked. Syracuse traveling number 18, Miami. Miami's a 29-point favorite. ESPN FBI has them as a 96% chance winner here. And again, what's weird about this? Dude, this is a classic slip-up point for Miami. This is a classic part of the season downfall for Cristobal and Miami. So part of me wants to pick Syracuse, but I can't do it. I can't bring myself. I'm going to pick Miami. Something in my gut tells me to pick Syracuse, but I again, this is a game more so than the previous upset that could have happened with Mississippi State and Georgia. Would not surprise me the slightest, tiniest little bit if Syracuse came out on top versus Miami. This is, again, classic slip-up point for the Hurricanes. Classic moment. All right, up next, unranked matchup, Florida State at Clemson. Of course, this is a game of teams who could be looking for a new head coach very, very soon. Clemson's a 2.5 point favorite. Florida State's a 53-point favorite. Per ESPN FBI, dude, I could not tell you who I think is confidently going to win this game. I'm going to take Florida State because I don't know. Gus, I don't know. This is a gross game, and again, this week turned out to be pretty gross because of all the drama in college football, all the coaching firings, which even affected the next game, which is LSU traveling to Tuscaloosa taking on Alabama. Again, very interesting what this team will look like after the Brian Kelly firing. Of course, they had a bye week in between to kind of prepare for this rivalry game. Alabama, number 4 team in the country. They're 10.5 point favorite. FPI has them as an 80% chance winner. ABC primetime game, Bryant-Denny Stadium. I think LSU can get it done. I think LSU can get it done this weekend. So I'm going to pick LSU. And consider that would be my hate pick of the week. I'm going to take the Tigers of the Bayou to get the dub here in T-Town. Up next, Navy traveling number 10, Notre Dame. Notre Dame's a 26-point favorite, which is absolutely insane because Navy is 7-1 and is in prime position. If they win out and potentially win this game, they could get a playoff spot. And by could, I mean will if they beat Notre Dame right here. And again, another classic slip-up spot. You know, when I look at Syracuse losing to Miami, this rings of a Notre Dame loss to a G5 team yet again. It happened last year, Northern Illinois, and Notre Dame got better for it. But it's so late in the year. I mean, losing this game means losing a playoff spot. But man, oh man, do I want to pick Navy. And I think I am. I'm going to take Navy with the upset. You know, I think that's a sparking little rivalry already. If you didn't know, Auburn did sign on to a home and home with Notre Dame for the 2020. I want to say 28 and 29 seasons, but it could be 27, 28. I don't have the notes in front of me, so I'm just kind of going off of what I can remember from Twitter. But yeah, I'm gonna take Navy. I think they're going to be the better blue and gold team this weekend. It just feels like a classic slip-up spot, man. That's just what it feels like. There's a couple of trap games sitting in this week that just make this week a little bit more interesting than what it could have been if all these teams were not, bad. But regardless, I mean, this game could be very bad for Marcus Freeman and company in South Bend. Last game, Florida at Kentucky. I did this just strictly so I could have the little Florida logo because I love that little logo. I love the little gator. It looks all stupid and stuff. Florida is a 3.5 point favorite. I'm going to take Florida. Kentucky's bad, which doesn't bode well because Auburn's also bad because they lost to Kentucky, but Kentucky's extremely bad. I think Florida can get it done. I'm going to take the Florida Gators to get the win there. But again, that's my picks for the week. Got Indiana, Georgia, Texas Tech, Texas A&M, Oregon, Miami, Florida State, LSU, Navy, and the Florida Gators getting the dub. But, of course, you also got Auburn getting the dub as well. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Who do you think is going to win this weekend, Auburn or Vanderbilt? Do you think Diego Pavia will get shut down? Do you think Ashton Daniels can have another breakout game? And, of course, always let me know, what is your pick for Auburn's next head coach? Of course, a little too early to call. There's always going to be names thrown around the place trying to see exactly who will be the next head football coach of the Auburn Tigers. But regardless, we still got DJ Durkin, and this defense is still going to be lights out. So, of course, I'm Dylan Larck, able to on Twitter. Find me on Instagram as well at Dylan Larck, DYLNLRCK. And, of course, I'm right here on the College Loop Podcast. Like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And, of course, check us out on every single social media platform, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, the works. All those at the College Loop. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube as well. Always got to pad that as much as possible. Thank you all to everyone who's already subscribed to the YouTube channel. Thank you to everyone who has helped us gain the 1,000 milestone that I have been itching and scratching for the past couple of years, ever since we started the College Loop. Thank you, everyone, for your constant support. And, again, don't forget, make your picks in the comment below for Auburn at Vanderbilt. Keep pushing along. Let Disney fall because, again, it's their fault that YouTube TV is in the rut that it is in right now. ESPN's losing a lot of viewers. ESPN has lost a lot of viewers. I think the like some of the numbers, it's like millions of dollars lost, and it's millions of viewers lost too. So hopefully they get it fixed by Friday evening, or I'm going to start spending some time making some 1 week free trials on some things so I can watch Auburn football play. If not, expect a very limited analysis on Sunday, but I expect to be watching this game. It should be an interesting one. Again, this is a building block for Durkin to kind of build his resume to get the Auburn job. And again, I think he wants it. I think he wants the job. But we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you, everyone who's watched. Excuse me. Thank you, everyone who has watched up to this point of the College Loop. And, of course, don't forget, make your predictions in the comment section below. That being said, thanks for tuning in to the College Loop Podcast yet again. And, as always, War Eagle.